Yeah, excited for the season to be about here. It's been a great process with this group, starting in the summer through the fall, and when you get within 2 weeks and you start doing scrimmages, and I think kind of that middle 3 to 4 weeks of the 6 weeks you get for practice, kind of the guys start looking forward to playing somebody else. So I know the guys are excited. As a coaching staff, we're excited. It's been a great group to coach. We've had some injuries that we've battled through, and we're starting to get healthy right now. So I'm just looking forward to the season. It's a great home schedule. It's going to be as challenging as ever in the Missouri Valley Conference season. I think this league's going to be as deep as it's been since I've been here in the conference. So it's just, at the beginning of the season, there's tons of excitement. You're still figuring out your team. We're still figuring out rotations, lineups, different things like that. And, we'll probably do that through November into December and, continue to get better throughout the season. I think that's one thing with this group is how much growth we can have from right now to, end of January into February. And that's what I'm excited about as well.
Are you encouraged with what you've seen so far in the preseason in terms of guys maybe starting to figure out roles and see what they can and can't do on the floor, and how that integrates into what you're trying to install as a team?
Yeah, definitely. It's been, the new guys that have been here, I couldn't ask for anything more in terms of their work ethic, their coachability, them being bought in from day one, and that's part of the recruiting process. They all want to win a championship. That's why they're here. And, the returners, integrating them in with the new guys and building this team, and we're still forming. Like I talked about the lineups and rotation. I think that'll take some time because, we had some guys out this fall, and, so we're still trying to get the full team on the court, and as we go through that first month of the season, I think we'll get more comfortable with just in terms of when we play specific teams with different lineups, who can guard who the best, and when we need to run some different types of sets, who's best in those positions. So I think that takes always, that first month of the season to figure out.
Where are you with those guys that maybe have had to miss some time? What's the situation with some of those guys right now?
Yeah. So Clarence has been back on the court the last couple of weeks, which has been really positive. He's been doing everything full go. Troy's back on the court this week right now. X was playing against Loyola this past weekend. Cade has still been out with his ankle, and he's probably not going to be on the court for a while. Right now we're still getting another opinion and trying to figure out what the best course of kind of the progress for him is going to look like. And then Sheridan actually just had a fracture in his foot, so he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. But I think with Clarence and Xavier and Troy, those guys have all been progressing really well.
So you're feeling like they're going to be able to go when the season starts in a week and a half?
Yep. As long as nothing happens in the next week and a half, I think we'll have all those guys on the court.
You got some new guys on the team this year. You lost some key pieces last year. What can fans expect this year from you guys?
Yeah, I think identity-wise, we're going to stay true to who we are. We're going to play together. We're going to play extremely hard. We're going to play for each other. It's got to start with our defense. Offensively, I think, with this group, I think we're a little bit longer, a little bit quicker at times. I think the ball can move from side to side. It's a very unselfish group in terms of not letting the ball stick. And I'm looking forward to seeing, kind of how we can progress offensively with this group, throughout the season and through that beginning part of the season especially.
You mentioned Sheridan's injury. By the time that he would be basketball ready, you might be looking at the bulk of the Valley season. Do you consider potentially a redshirt with that sort of injury?
Yeah, we haven't really discussed that yet. We we just found out yesterday.
Right.
And I think it depends, when he actually comes back, what the timetable is, how he feels physically, and just kind of, we're not going to decide anything this week, next week, in probably 3-4 weeks. We'll just take it. Hopefully he can get back before Christmas and just kind of see how that goes.
Coach, the number 9 ranking in the conference, is that something that you and your players read into? You guys feel disrespected at all? Are you better than that?
No, I don't think so. I think we were highly motivated before that ranking came out, so I don't think that really does too much for us. I think they all came here for the right reasons, and we know what that reason is, so I think that's kind of been our motivation from day one.
Can you believe it's year 5 already?
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey. It's been an awesome journey. Every day I wake up very grateful to represent this program, to be back here. It's been 4 of the best years of mine and my family's life. So, we're excited for this 5th year.
18 home games, does that set for you an expectation of 20-plus wins this season?
Oh, I don't think we ever set out in terms of, hey, let's win 21 or 22 or 19 games. I think the 18 home games, kind of said before, it's an accumulation of the last couple of years' schedule to get some of these return games all happen in the same year. And, it's great, for our community, for our university, for our fan base to be able to have some of the teams that we do have coming into the Banterra Center. So hopefully, in terms of starting off the non-conference schedule with a couple home games before we go to Cancun, our guys can understand what it's like to play in front of this community and get off to a good start heading over to Cancun.
I know it's over a month away, but you basically back-to-back St. Louis and Oklahoma State. That 2-game stretch right there has to feel like it could really tell you a lot about your team, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough stretch, throughout the whole non-conference. Before that we have to go to Indiana State, and so just. I think throughout the non-conference schedule, it'll prepare us, for the conference season. We'll find out a lot about our team, against Kentucky State, against Queens, against Chicago State, and definitely when we go to Cancun with James Madison. I think to have St. Louis and Oklahoma State here, it's just a special opportunity. It's a special opportunity, I think, for our program and for the fans who have, been here for, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, to welcome back a Power 5 team into the arena is a huge opportunity for us.
I say, do you feel you'll surprise anybody at all?
Do I feel what?
Do you feel this team might surprise anyone?
It depends what they think about us, I guess. I think, I'm looking forward to, going on this journey with these guys, going through the ups and downs of the season. And like I said, I think as a coach, it's exciting because you get to figure out, kind of how much better you can get from where you're at right now towards the end of the season. And, you get to handle all the things that come with that. And this group, like I said, in terms of the summer and the fall, they've been extremely coachable, in terms of watching film with them, on the court teaching them coming in on their own. So that's what gives me a lot of excitement.
Lance and Marcus were the leaders the past couple of years. Is it looking now like it's going to be X and Troy and Clarence? Are those maybe the 3 guys you're looking to as your main leaders?
Yeah, I think Trent's been a big piece of our program, throughout his 4 years here. He's kind of has a natural, leadership's such a hard word to define. I try not to talk about that with our guys. I talk about it more as responsibilities, because it's always like, hey, go be a better leader. And a lot of people don't know what that means. I say you need to be a better leader. Well, so I try to give guys responsibilities, try to give them some ownership over different areas of the program. And Trent has some natural, leadership capabilities in terms of just his work ethic. It starts with your actions, then how he communicates with his teammates and how good of a teammate he is. And now that he's been here for 4 years, he knows our system, so he's able to echo what I have to say. But I think Xavier's done an unbelievable job over the last 6 months of that. And then also, I think Troy's done a really good job too.
Speaking about Trent real quickly, do you see a potential future in coaching for him, the way that you talk about him?
I think Trent's going to be successful in whatever he chooses to do, to be honest. If he wants to continue playing basketball and then coach, if he wants to get into the business where he's working on his MBA here, he should have that by the time he leaves SIU. So he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Any idea on your starting 5 as of yet? Or?
No, not yet. It'll be good. We have another scrimmage this weekend, and then we got, 6-7 days of practice before Kentucky State. So still trying to figure it out. Like I said, with some of those guys being out throughout the fall, just lineups and rotations, that's probably the biggest thing that through the first couple of weeks of the season that we'll continue to adjust and try to figure out with our guys.
I was going to ask, last year you talked about one of the things that team was able to do really well is understand how long a 40-minute game really is.
Yeah.
Where do you think this group is in terms of that process?
Yeah, learning. I think that's going to be a big key for this group. I think we'll be able to put ourselves in position to win a lot of games, and it's about those last 4 minutes. I think we were 10-2 last year or something like that in those close games, and for us, it's about having the returning guys, step in and play with some composure and poise and understand what it takes, and then the new guys, everyone buy in, so I think, the scrimmages and then, that first month of the season, it'll give you a really good experience in terms of, but we try to talk about that with our guys every single day in practice with game situations. We show them film from last year, last 4 minutes of games we were good in, games we weren't good in, talk about each possession, and, it comes down to, 3 or 4 possessions on each side of the ball and just what it takes to execute and win those games.
How are you seeing Jerems's influence in his coaching on the court? Obviously, he's a great recruiter.
Yeah.
But in terms of on court, how are you seeing his influence on this team?
Well, he's a winner. I mean, he's been around a lot of high-level teams, championship teams. He's won a lot in his career, and he's very good in terms of the developmental part, but in terms of what a championship culture looks like, sounds like, should feel like, how people should communicate with each other, the standards every single day in practice. He's been doing a really good job holding our guys accountable, making sure there's no slippage in terms of what we want to accomplish.